Are you frustrated by the Colosseum ticketing system, wondering how to get the best Colosseum tickets without stress? A little over a year ago, the Colosseum changed their ticketing system for the better. But getting tickets to Rome's most visited monument is still causing a lot of people grief. And since I made my video last year about the new system, some things have changed, so it's time for a new video. Also, with the new system, some people are finding workarounds to get the tickets they want, and it's causing some confusion. In this video, I'm going to try to answer all the questions I've seen about Colosseum tickets in hopes of making your experience go more smoothly when you visit Rome. First, I'm going to break down all the different ticket types there are and how to purchase them. If you want to skip ahead, you can use the chapters in the description below. Next, I'll be answering questions like, can you take the underground tour in a language you don't understand, like Italian? Is there one ticket that allows you to see all levels of the Colosseum? If you book a standard entry ticket and you also book a 24-hour arena ticket, do you have to leave the Colosseum and walk all the way around to the stern entrance to go in, or can you just stay inside the Colosseum? And lots more questions like this, so stay tuned. All right, these are all the different kinds of Colosseum tickets you can purchase. First up is the standard entry ticket. In my view, this is one of the best tickets you can get to visit the Colosseum, especially if it's your first time here. With a standard entry ticket, you will see most of what you want to see inside the Colosseum. You'll have a chance to walk around both levels of the monument, the ground floor and the next level up called the second tier. And on both of these levels, you'll be able to walk inside of the rings, but also inside of the monument. When you're inside the rings, you'll be able to see the permanent exhibit there. And if there's any extraordinary exhibit, you'll have access to that as well. With your standard entry ticket, you can also walk around both levels of the inside of the Colosseum. From here, you can look all around you, and you can also look down into the underground of the Colosseum and down onto the arena floor. And even from the second level, the views are pretty amazing. With a standard entry ticket, whether you visit on your own or with a tour, you're going to take about an hour to visit the inside of the Colosseum. And frankly, you really don't need much more time than that anyway. Your Colosseum ticket also comes with access to the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill, which I'm going to go over separately. The next type of Colosseum ticket you can buy is a full experience ticket. The term full experience just means you're getting a little bit more than you would get with a standard entry ticket. The full experience tickets include the arena 24-hour ticket, the arena floor, the underground, the Attico, and the night tour. Let me start by explaining the difference between the two arena floor tickets you can purchase. The arena floor full experience ticket is sort of like the standard entry ticket. You get to see all of the main levels, but you also get to walk out onto the arena floor. You'll access the arena floor from inside the monument. In theory, you have about 20 minutes to stay out on the arena floor, although they don't really police you, but frankly, you're not going to need more than 20 minutes anyway. When you leave the arena floor, you walk back inside of the monument and you can continue your visit there. All right, now the arena 24-hour ticket is a little bit different from the arena full experience ticket. With this ticket, you only get 20 minutes on the arena floor and that's it. With this ticket, you do not have access to the main levels of the Colosseum, you do not have access to the permanent exhibit or any other part of the monument, just the arena floor for 20 minutes. I think this is a great ticket for those of you with limited time, perhaps those of you with limited mobility, or even those of you with limited patience. You get in, you walk out onto the arena floor, you get to see most of the monument, you can take all the pictures and video you want, and you leave. Why is it called the Arena 24-hour ticket? I'll explain that when I talk about the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill portion. The next type of ticket is for the Attico, or attic. With this ticket, you can see the main levels of the Colosseum as with the standard entry ticket, but you can also access the third, fourth, and fifth tiers of the monument. I think this is a pretty amazing ticket. You take an elevator or a small lift up to the third tier. From there, you can walk around an inner ring of the third tier. And then to get to the fourth and fifth levels, you do have to climb some stairs. They're supposed to be making this part accessible, but so far they haven't yet. I don't think that the lift is claustrophobic. It is a glass elevator. I also don't think that the stair part is that difficult, but it is a little bit steep. All right, the next type of Colosseum ticket is the Underground. Just like it sounds, the Underground ticket of the Colosseum allows you to see the main levels of the Colosseum as you would with the standard entry ticket, but also the Hypogeum, or the Underground, or what some people refer to as the dungeons. This is where animals and humans were kept before they were brought up onto the Colosseum floor for whatever their destiny was. If you visited the Colosseum, or as you can see from my footage of the Colosseum, when you look down onto the floor of the Colosseum from any of the main levels or the upper level, you can actually see most of the Underground from there. The arena floor that was once there has long dissolved, and so we can see the Underground from above. So what do you see when you visit the Underground with a Colosseum Underground ticket? Well, you will see a small section of the Underground that is literally underground. You have a roof over you, and you'll be able to see a little bit of the architecture underground up close. Also, you'll be able to walk around on those walkways that you see down there. We're going to come back to the Underground in just a moment because I know this is the source of a lot of stress and frustration for so many of you. After your visit to the Underground, you're brought up to the arena floor, so your visit includes not just the Underground, but also the arena floor. So the Underground ticket includes the arena floor, but the arena floor ticket does not include the Underground. And the last type of Colosseum ticket is for the night tour. Just like it sounds like, this is a ticket that allows you to visit the Colosseum at night. This is a pretty special visit because it's really atmospheric. And when you get a ticket to visit the Colosseum at night, your visit includes the Underground, so it's even more atmospheric. I am going to talk about booking Colosseum tours through the Colosseum website versus booking them through a tour company in just a moment. One really important thing to know about the Colosseum night tours is that they typically don't run year-round. Since I've been living in Rome and since the Colosseum has been offering night tours, they have started anywhere from March, April, May, June. It's not really clear. Some years the Colosseum night tours ended in around October, November, and one year they went all the way through the end of the year and the very beginning of January before stopping and starting up again in late spring. I don't know the reason for this. My suggestion is simply that if this is something you want to do, I highly recommend booking this through the Colosseum website because then you can be sure that the tour is actually running. At the time I'm making this video for you, tours of the Colosseum that run at night are only being offered up to 7 days in advance. So if you are seeing Colosseum night tours through third-party websites that are further out than 7 days, you cannot be sure that you're going to get that tour because they don't have the tickets yet. And if you see a Colosseum night tour for months from now, you don't even know if the Colosseum is going to be running night tours then. You can always just go ahead and book this because if you book through a third party and your tour is canceled because it doesn't exist or because they couldn't get the tickets, they will offer you something else or they will give you a full refund. But otherwise, your best bet really is to book the night tour of the Colosseum directly through the Colosseum website. There is one more type of ticket you can purchase on the Colosseum website, and that is the Roman Forum Super Pass. The Roman Forum Super Pass allows you access to the Roman Forum, Palatine Hill, and all the super sites there, but without access to the Colosseum. If you're wondering what the super sites are, I'm going to go over this when I talk about the Roman Forum and the Palatine Hill. Via the Colosseum website, you can also book educational tours. The options for these tours include a basic tour of the Colosseum, a tour of the Underground, which is a little bit more than just booking a regular ticket to the Underground because you're going to get a little bit more of an explanation. The night tour, which is the only way you can visit the Colosseum at night. You can't just walk around there on your own. And the Domus Aurea, which is a separate site. I've done a video about the Domus Aurea, so you can check that out if you want to know more. In this video, I'm going to keep talking about the Colosseum, Roman Forum, and Palatine Hill. There's one additional tour you can book on the Colosseum website for a specific site inside of the Roman Forum, and this is for the Aurea Piperataria. I did a separate video about this, so you can check that out for more details. In the educational tours section, there is something new at the time I'm making this video for you. I used to say that the Colosseum only offered tours of the Colosseum itself and that they didn't offer tours of the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. But this is no longer the case. As of right now, the Colosseum is starting to offer tours of the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill through their website. This is very new, so I'm seeing that they're only offering it at the moment on Monday mornings. There's one tour in English and one tour in Italian. My guess is they want to see how it goes. They want to see how much demand there is before they decide to offer more of these tours. Or maybe it's a staffing issue and they're just going to be offering these tours on Monday mornings and that's it. If this is something that interests you, I suggest checking back on the Colosseum website and just seeing if this changes over time. Now this is super new. I haven't tried the tour yet. I'm not exactly sure what it covers, but I can tell you from experience that the tours of the Colosseum are usually pretty basic. And I still maintain that if you want a more complete experience, you're going to have to book through a tour company. I am going to talk about booking Colosseum tours through the Colosseum website versus booking them through a tour company in just a moment. All right, next let's talk about visiting the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. Every Colosseum ticket comes with access to the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. The Roman Forum is where downtown city life was in ancient Rome. The Palatine Hill is where some of Rome's emperors built their palaces. Palatine is where we get the word palace from. And while these are two distinct areas, they are part of the same archaeological park known as the Parco Colosseo. So when I say that you get access to the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill, you get access to this entire park. When I first moved here and before I knew better, I used to think that the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill were two separate entities and that I could visit one of them, leave the park, and come back and visit the other one. This is not the case. Your ticket to the Roman Forum Palatine Hill is good for one entrance and you cannot leave and go back inside on the same ticket. I think for many people who visit Rome, visiting the Colosseum is a must. But often, the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill seems to be something of an afterthought. But for me, the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill is the most fascinating part of the whole Parco Colosseo. And it's the part that I think requires the most planning, especially if you really want to see this site in depth. Obviously, this is different for everyone. It's going to depend on your time available, your energy level, and the interest you have in these ancient Roman sites. Every single Colosseum ticket comes with access to the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill within 24 hours of your Colosseum entry time. I did a whole video about where all of the entrances are to the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill, so you can check that out if you want to see all of your options. Very typically, people will visit the Colosseum, leave the Colosseum, and then walk right across to the entrance to the Roman Forum on the Via Sacra, which is where the Arch of Titus is. But you don't have to do it this way. You can leave, take a break, and then come back in the afternoon. Or if your Colosseum ticket is in the afternoon, you could visit the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill in the morning and maybe take a lunch break and then go back and visit the Colosseum. But as I said, you have up until 24 hours on either side of that entry time to visit this park. So let's say you have an 11 a.m. Colosseum entry time. This can be your entry time for standard entry, for the arena floor, for the underground. It doesn't matter. If your Colosseum entry time is 11 a.m., then you have from 11 a.m. on the day prior up until 11 a.m. on the day after to enter the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. At the time I'm making this video for you, the Colosseum opens at 8:30 a.m., but the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill open at 9 a.m. So if you're short on time and you want to, the day of your 11 a.m. Colosseum visit, you could enter the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill at 9 a.m., visit it for about an hour and 45 minutes, and then quickly make your way over to the Colosseum to get inside for your 11 a.m. entry time. In my opinion, that is not enough time to visit the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill, although it may be if all you want to really do is just kind of have a walkthrough and see some of the monuments there. For me, the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill is a place of almost endless discovery. I live here, I have the yearly membership card, I visit often, and I'm always seeing new things. Now, if you have a strong interest in ancient Rome and you have the time, I would suggest making a plan to spend a few hours inside of this park. So using that 11 a.m. Colosseum entry time as an example, one option would be to go inside of the Roman Forum Palatine Hill anytime from 11:01 on the day prior and staying there all day if you like until closing. The Colosseum, Roman Forum, and Palatine Hill change their closing hours according to the season, so make sure to check on the Colosseum website to find out when the park closes. Now, using that same 11 a.m. Colosseum ticket as an example again, you could also go inside of the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill anytime up to 10:59 on the day after. This is when you can enter the park, but once you enter, you can stay inside as long as you want to. If you plan to spend more than a few hours in this park, make sure to have a food plan. Either bring some bars with you, some sort of a snack, or at the very least, you can go inside of the cafe that's at the entrance of the Roman Forum on the Via dei Fori Imperiali. Another thing to consider when visiting the Roman Forum in Palatine Hill are the super sites. When they first came out with the super sites, this stood for 7 unique places to experience Rome. The super sites that existed at that time have changed a little bit. Some of them are now just normal sites you can walk through, like the Neronian Cryptoporticus. Some sites have been added, for example, the Domus Tiberiana. Some sites have been closed, for example, the House of Livia closed for a very long time and only recently reopened. Anyway, the bottom line is to check on the Colosseum website to see what the super sites are and when they're open and when they're closed. How do you visit the super sites? At one point, you needed to make reservations to visit them, but now you can just walk through them at your leisure. As I mentioned, every Colosseum ticket gets you a one-time entry to the Roman Forum Palatine Hill Park. The standard entry ticket gets you access to the entire park, with the exception of the super sites. All the other ticket types include access to the super sites. And even with the standard entry ticket, you can upgrade for only €4 to include the super sites. You can easily do this on site or online, although of course I recommend doing it online because you won't have to stand in any lines. Once inside the park, to access any of the super sites, you'll just need to show your ticket. All right, in this section, I'm going to be talking about Colosseum tours that you can book through third parties. After that, I'm going to be doing my best to answer all of the questions I've been getting over the last year and a half about visiting the Colosseum, so stick around. When I say third-party tours, what I mean are tours that are offered by somebody other than the Colosseum. This can mean a specific tour company, such as Walks of Italy, but it could also mean an umbrella site, such as Get Your Guide or Viator. Many individual tour companies offer similar tours. These can range from a standard tour of the Colosseum that includes a visit to the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill, usually lasting a total of about 3 hours, to more special tours like tours of the Underground and tours of the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill that include the super sites, to private tours. Not everyone wants a tour of the Colosseum, so sometimes on these sites you'll also find entry tickets, but of course at a slight markup from the price you'll find on the official Colosseum website. So aside from the question of whether or not you should take a tour of the Colosseum, you might be wondering, why should you book a tour through a third party when you can book tours of the Colosseum through the Colosseum website itself? For me, there are 2 main reasons why you might want to book a tour of the Colosseum through a third party. The first reason is that you may want a more complete experience. Currently, on the Colosseum website, there is no such tour that includes the Colosseum and the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill in one tour. Most tour companies, on the other hand, offer this combination along with many iterations of that combination, such as a tour of the Underground or of the arena floor, plus a tour of the Roman Forum, the Palatine Hill, maybe a super site or 2. So pretty much across the board, a tour that you book through a third party is just going to be a more complete experience. A second reason that you may want to book a tour on a third party site may be because on the Colosseum website, you can't find the ticket or tour that you're looking for, but you can find it on a third-party site. And this holds true for entry tickets as well. Sometimes you can't find entry tickets on the Colosseum website, but you can find them on third-party ticketing sites. Now, when it comes to tickets, you can see a clear difference between booking on the Colosseum website and booking on a third-party site because there is a markup, sometimes a considerable markup, to book a ticket on a third-party site. Where tours are concerned, yes, you're going to pay more if you book through a third party, but again, it's because they're providing you with a more complete experience. There is a third reason that you may want to book a tour through a third party. It has been my experience that most tours that I take through third parties are better quality tours than the tours that you get through the Colosseum. I've said this before, I never want to criticize anyone who's working as a professional guide. These people put in long hours of study to get their guide licenses, and I know how hard they work. But private tour companies or outside tour companies have a vested interest in you having a really great experience. They want you to book more tours with them. They want you to tell your friends about them. They want you to leave a good review online. Guides who are employed directly by the Colosseum don't have this same kind of expectation. And so while this is not necessarily the case across the board, it has been my experience that the tours that I've taken with outside tour companies are just more fun, more entertaining, more engaging. I think this may be one reason why on the Colosseum website, they list their tours as educational tours, because they're just trying to provide you with a little bit more detail than what you get from walking around on your own. So what is the difference between booking through an individual tour company versus booking through an umbrella site like Get Your Guide or Viator? If you visit the various individual websites of these tour companies, let's say Walks of Italy and Through Eternity Tours and Live Tours, you can look through their Colosseum offerings and see the different tours they have available. You can also read the fine print, you can see what times these are offered at, you can see how much they cost, and you can often see customer reviews. And as I said, if you've already taken a tour with a tour company you like, you may simply want to book with that company. Umbrella sites like Get Your Guide, Viator, TripAdvisor, etc. are good for comparing similar tours. So you can use these sites to compare similar tours across different tour companies. You can see different prices, different reviews, different times available, etc. And if you're looking for a tour that fits certain specific criteria, you can use the filters and find exactly the tour you're looking for. Let's say you're coming to Rome this weekend, you didn't think about booking in advance, and you realize, oh my gosh, I better get my act together and book the Colosseum. Well, you can go into one of these sites, put in your dates, put in Colosseum, and then see what's available. You can filter for lots of factors like group size, tour language, time of day, price range, etc. So then why does everybody tell you you must book on the official site? There is plenty of merit to saying book on the official site. So you're going to see exactly what the availability is of certain tickets. You're also going to get the best price, the base price. But if you want a tour, a more complete experience, these third-party sites are valuable. But I don't think it's the case to denigrate third parties. They are trying to provide you with a good experience. And as I said, they offer you something that the Colosseum itself doesn't offer. Another reason people sort of insist on advising other people to book on the Colosseum website itself is because of possible cancellations. When you book a ticket through the Colosseum, the chances of your ticket being canceled for some reason are next to nothing. When you book a Colosseum ticket or tour through a third party, you raise the chances of your ticket being canceled. And why is that? Well, as I've said, Colosseum tickets go on sale either 7 or 30 days in advance, no more than that. So anything you see available on a third party that's more than a month from now, it means they don't have the tickets yet. Tour companies, just like us, have to get the tickets through the Colosseum website when they're released. So if they're selling you a tour from, say, 2 months from now, they don't have the tickets yet. They're planning to get the tickets once the tickets are released. So if you're booking a standard tour of the Colosseum with the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill, the chances of your tour being canceled are next to nothing. But if you do what many people do, visit a tour company site or an umbrella site and look for these elusive underground or night tickets 6 months from now and you find them, well, you're booking something that may not exist. It doesn't mean that if you book something 6 months from now that your tour is going to be canceled. But the more elusive the ticket and the further out you go, the higher the possibility. If you book something through a third party and they can't fulfill what you've booked, they will offer you something else or they'll give you a full refund. And this leads me to the last section of this video, which is where I'm going to try to answer all of the questions I've seen about Colosseum tickets, tours, workarounds, cancellations, etc. So how exactly do you get tickets on the Colosseum website? First, you need to visit the official website of the Colosseum, which I'm linking to in the description below. The official website is ticketing.colosseo.it. If the website opens in Italian, you can switch to another language by clicking one of these options at the top. You're either going to want tickets for individuals or for an educational tour. Now, because you're going to have to create a login so that you can provide your email so they can send you your ticket to your email address, I would suggest that you create your login first. This way, you don't have to waste time doing it at the end of the procedure and it'll be less stressful. Also, if you plan on trying to get those hard-to-get tickets, you're probably going to be visiting this ticketing site more than once. And if you already have your login, that's just one less step you'll have to worry about. I suggest that you click both educational tours and the part for individuals and just browse through the offerings so you can be familiar with what's available. I've gone over these in detail in this video, but sometimes it helps to just see it in front of you and read the fine print. When you're ready, Navigate to the section where you want to purchase tickets. As an example, I'm going to use the ticket that's easiest to come by, which is the standard entry ticket. When you click that, it will take you to a screen where you can enter the number of people in your party, and then you can scroll down to the calendar and select your date. When you select the total number of people in your party, make sure to account for everyone. This includes, for example, people who have a right to a free ticket, such as children under the age of 18 and anyone with a disability. You can check the rules on the Colosseum website to see who qualifies for free or reduced tickets. When you get free or reduced tickets, you may be asked to show proof that you are eligible for those tickets. If your date is available but certain time slots are grayed out, it simply means that those time slots are not available and you'll have to pick a different time slot. But as I'm showing you, for standard entry Colosseum tickets, there are usually plenty of time slots available, even for same-day purchase. And the great news is there is no fee to purchase your tickets online. So even if you didn't book the Colosseum and you just showed up here in Rome and you want to book for same-day purchase, you can buy your tickets online with no downside. This means you never have to stand in line to purchase Colosseum tickets. Once you've chosen your date and your time slot, you're going to have to select the number of people going on that time slot. Now, if you chose 4 people, you have to enter 4 people. If all 4 are adults, just choose 4 adults. If 2 are adults and 2 are, say, children under 18, then just select that. You must book for your children even though they have a right to free tickets because they have to show up as somebody who's going to be entering the Colosseum. So once you've selected the number of people, you've chosen your date and your time slot, just proceed to the checkout. The rest is pretty self-explanatory. After you finalize your purchase, you'll receive an email with a PDF that contains your tickets. You don't have to print out this PDF. You can show it on your phone or tablet. Just make sure you have with you some sort of government-issued photo ID that proves that you are the person whose name is on the ticket. You do not need to bring your actual passport with you. A photocopy will suffice. If you don't receive your email, check in your junk mailbox or even your trash because it may have wound up there somehow by accident. If you've checked your junk mail or your trash and you still cannot find your confirmation email, or you need help with something else, like you made a mistake when you made the reservation, the only thing to do at this point is to write to the Colosseum. On their website, they have a place where you can fill out a form and ask for help. They are really responsive. They get back to you quickly. They answer you in English. And I have found that whatever question I've ever asked, they've answered directly. I have to give kudos to the Parco Colosseo. They took back their ticketing system. It's directly in their hands. The system works pretty well, even though I know some of you are frustrated by it. And I love how helpful they are. As I said, you can either go onto their website, but you can also go onto their Facebook page, and they answer questions there too. And the Parco Colosseo is a member of the RomeWise Facebook group, so if you ask a question about the Colosseum in the RomeWise Facebook group, chances are pretty good that you'll have an answer from the Parco Colosseo themselves. When you look at the Colosseum calendar and you see all the dates there, you're going to notice that some of the dates have a black number, some have a gray number, and some are crossed out. They give you a little key about this below the calendar so you can see that a black number means that tickets are available for that date, a gray number means that there just are no tickets available for that date, and a crossed out number means they're sold out. The reason I'm explaining this is because I often get the question, what does this mean when a day is grayed out? Because you'll look at a day in the middle of a bunch of availability and see that just one day is grayed out, not sold out, but grayed out. Anytime you see a day that is grayed out, that's in the middle of other days where there is availability, it simply means that for that day, there are no tickets available. Not that they're sold out. You can't get tickets. You're always going to see a grayed out date on the first Sunday of every month because that's the free Sunday. You need a ticket to enter the Colosseum on the free Sunday, but you have to get it on site on that day. So you just have to show up, go to the ticket booth, and get your ticket. But there are usually huge lines for this, so I don't recommend visiting the Colosseum on the free Sunday. I recommend trying another monument. Sometimes there's free entry to the Colosseum other dates throughout the year. For example, often on Rome's birthday, April 21st, or on Liberation Day, April 25th, or on Armed Forces Day, November 4th. It just depends. You might find that there's free entry for some holiday, and if you see that the date is grayed out, it just means that it's probably free that day, which means you cannot purchase tickets. You just have to show up. When exactly are Colosseum tickets released? What time? What time zone? Tickets for the Colosseum Night Tour and tickets for the Arena Full Experience are released 7 days in advance. All other Colosseum tickets are released 30 days in advance. This does not mean a month in advance, it means 30 days. For tickets that are easy to come by, like the standard entry or either of the arena floor tickets, you're probably not going to have to worry too much about this. You can buy these tickets closer to your arrival date, even the day before or often on the same day as you want to visit. But I think people are most interested in this topic when they are looking for those elusive tickets, the Underground, the Attico, and the Night Tour. For example, today is July 29th, so if we look for availability 30 days from now, you're going to see that we arrive on August 28th, because if we count 30 days from now, not including the free Sunday, we arrive at August 28th. So let's use standard entry tickets as an example. They are released throughout that day at their corresponding ticket times. And when I say they're released at their corresponding ticket times, I'm referring to this time zone, Central European Time. If we open up August 28th as an example, we'll see that tickets are available up to around 11 a.m. because it's around 11 a.m. right now in Rome. The next two easiest tickets to get after the standard entry ticket are the 2 arena floor tickets. If we take a look at both of these arena floor tickets, you're going to notice something interesting about the calendar. In either case, the arena floor ticket is pretty easy to come by, even the full experience ticket that's only available up to 7 days in advance. In my opinion and in my experience, the Colosseum Full Experience Arena Floor ticket is really one of the best tickets you can get. I'm speaking of the one that allows you into all parts of the Colosseum, so the one that's only available 7 days in advance. But as you can see, it is available up to 7 days from now. And now we come to the part about how to get the tickets that are hardest to come by. Tickets for the Colosseum Underground, Attico, and the Night Tour. So for those elusive tickets, I suggest you do some practice runs. If you can, a little bit more than 30 days before you really want the tickets, open up the site and watch as the availability opens up according to the corresponding time slots. When you're ready to actually buy the tickets, come prepared. As I already explained before, make sure you already have a login. Then I recommend having 2 credit cards next to you just in case one doesn't go through. Then make sure you have a list and easy access to the first and last name of everyone in your party that you're booking for. The ticketing system works the same on phones, tablets, laptops, desktops, so that doesn't really matter. Then just get ready for when the tickets start being released. Now you may be tempted to refresh the site because you're looking to see if the next time slot has any availability. I recommend not refreshing your browser too often or the Colosseum website will actually kick you off for a while. If this happens to you, try clearing your cache or opening a different browser. When you see tickets, obviously click to put them in your basket and then slowly and methodically make your way to checkout. I say slowly because if you're in too much of a rush and you try to bypass some steps, let's say you miss clicking the I agree with terms and conditions, etc., the system might drop you or release your tickets. So just go through the steps, agree to the conditions, make your way to the checkout, and you should be good to go. If something happens, you don't act quickly enough, or for whatever reason there were multiple people vying for those same tickets and somebody got there faster than you might find yourself at checkout without the tickets you thought you had. Don't lose heart, just start over again. If you keep at this and you just go patiently and slowly, you should be able to get these tickets eventually. Don't forget that for the Underground, you can try for standard tickets, which will have somebody accompanying you, or you can try for the educational tour, which means you have somebody accompanying you, but who also is going to be giving you a more complete explanation. And if you don't get the tickets you want, remember, you can always get arena floor tickets and of course, standard entry tickets. Can you book a Colosseum Underground ticket on a third-party website and then try getting for the same ticket through the Colosseum itself, and then if you get it, cancel the other ticket? Certainly you can do it this way. You can book through a third party in hopes that you can get that ticket and then try for the one on the Colosseum website, but if you don't get it, then you have a backup. But if you get the ticket through the Colosseum website and you want to cancel the other ticket, you should be able to do so, but the important thing is to check the fine print before you book. Check the cancellation policy before you book. If the Colosseum Underground tour is available only in Italian language and you don't speak or understand it, can you book this tour? Of course you can book the tour. The tour is going to be held in Italian, and it's unlikely that your guide is going to be able to stop and also offer explanations in English. I've heard of different stories and experiences where this is concerned. Sometimes the entire tour is made up of non-Italian speakers, and the guide will switch to English to accommodate them. On the other hand, I've heard stories such as that the entire group was made up of English speakers and there was only one Italian in the group, and the tour was meant to be in Italian language, and the guide gave the tour in Italian. I think the takeaway is, if you want to book this tour in Italian because it's the only one you can get, by all means do so. Just don't expect the guide to speak in English or to do any translations. If they do, it's a bonus. But I would recommend instead that you maybe study up on the site before you go so you have an idea of what that guide is talking about. All right, I'm hearing a lot of stories of people buying 2 separate Colosseum tickets because they want to get what they want to see and they can't get it with one ticket. It seems a lot of people are booking standard entry Colosseum tickets because they want to see the arena floor, but the arena floor tickets are not available, or they don't want to wait till 7 days in advance. So they're also booking the arena 24-hour ticket so they can see the Colosseum normally, but also the arena floor. And the number one question I'm getting where this kind of combination ticket is concerned is, if I have a standard entry Colosseum ticket, and I also have an arena 24-hour ticket which calls for entrance through the stern gate, do I have to leave the Colosseum and walk all the way around to the stern gate to enter on that 24-hour arena floor ticket? Or can I get there from inside the monument? The arena 24-hour ticket is very specific, and you only get these 20 minutes out on the arena floor. And when you go in through the stern gate, they give you a little sticker so that you are differentiated from the people who are coming into the arena floor from inside the monument. So the answer is yes. If you have both of these tickets and you visit the Colosseum normally and then you've got your arena floor ticket, you are going to have to leave the monument to go all the way around and to the stern gate to go inside on that ticket. There is something really cool to consider if you do one of these ticket combos where you buy 2 different tickets because you want to see 2 different things at the Colosseum. And that is that you wind up with 2 entrances to the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. Some other combos I'm hearing are, let's say some family members got some attic tickets and some family members got some standard tickets, and how do you all meet up? If people in your group have different tickets with different entry times, you're going to have to go in at the entry time on the ticket. There's about a 15 or 20-minute leeway time on either side of your entry time, but I wouldn't push it far beyond that. And this is another question I get a lot. What time do you have to show up at the Colosseum to be on time for your Colosseum entry time that's on your ticket? No matter which ticket you have, whether it's standard entry, arena, underground, Attico, any of these tickets, you want to be at the Colosseum maybe 20 to 30 minutes in advance. It's not going to take you 30 minutes. It's just to orient yourself and make sure you go through all of the controls. You have to go through an ID check. This is very important. You must have ID with you. And it does not have to be a passport. It can be any government-issued photo ID or even a photocopy on your phone. But you must have some form of ID that proves that you are the person whose name is on the ticket, or you will be turned away. After that, you've got to go through airport-style security, and then you make your way through the turnstiles and into the monument. For the standard entry and both arena floor tickets, you just want to be around 15 to 20 minutes on either side of that Colosseum entry time. For the Attico, your Colosseum ticket time is when you're supposed to be at the base of the elevator to take it up to the upper levels. But this spot is really close to the entrance anyway, so it doesn't differ much from the other advice I've given, which is to show up at the Colosseum around 20 to 30 minutes in advance. And if you're a little bit late, that's okay too. With the Underground, you have 2 options. One is a regular visit and the other is an educational tour. Either way, the Underground is always accompanied, and this is also the case for the night tour. So for both of the Underground tickets and the night tour, you must be punctual because they could go without you. So yes, you can show up 15 or 20 minutes early, but I wouldn't show up late for any of these tours. I'm often asked if there's one ticket that allows you to see all the levels of the Colosseum. Some of you may remember that years ago, there was a way to book a ticket that included the Underground, the arena floor, and the upper levels of the Colosseum. But at that time, the upper level of the Colosseum was just the 3rd tier, and it did not include the 4th and 5th tiers as it does today. Also, several years ago, they did a huge excavation of the Underground of the Colosseum, and they opened up so much more of it than you used to be able to visit. And frankly, tourism has soared and demand for these tickets has soared. So the answer is no, there is not one ticket that allows you to see all the levels of the Colosseum, the Underground, the Arena, and the Attico all in one ticket. It doesn't exist. I think the reason for this is simply logistics and timing. I maintain that a standard entry ticket is going to get you to see most of what you really want to see in the Colosseum. You can look down into the Underground, you can see the arena floor, and you have amazing views from the second level. With the Colosseum Underground ticket, you also get to see the arena floor, so the only thing missing would be the Attico. So you could try for both of these tickets if you want. They're both really hard to get, but you could try. And then I'm often asked, is it better to get the Attico or the Underground? These are very different visits. It kind of depends on what you want out of your visit. The Attico is really special. You're very few people up there and the views are just amazing. I think that I prefer that one. The Underground has a lot more atmosphere to it. You're going to learn a lot about the humans and other animals that were kept underground before they went up onto the arena floor, all of the architecture, all of the special gadgets and things that they built down there. Both tours are worth doing. Frankly, any visit to the Colosseum is worth it. Another question I get a lot is, if the Colosseum changed their ticketing system, why is it so difficult to get tickets? People come on this channel and they leave comments like, I can't get any tickets, it's impossible. As soon as they show up, I go to click and they're sold out. There's nothing nefarious going on. These are simply the elusive tickets, the Underground, the Attico, and the night tour. My answer is always the same. There are plenty of standard entry Colosseum tickets available. You can book one of those. It's not about the ticketing system. What it's about is supply and demand. There are very few of these tickets available and thousands of people vying for them. It's not about bots or even tour companies. It's just supply and demand. And then a few of you will bring up, well, what about that article I read about the Colosseum being fined for bad ticketing practices and allowing bots to swipe up tickets? That article was about the previous ticket provider. And the great news, I repeat, is that the Colosseum now sells tickets themselves. So I don't have any magic solution for you as to how you can get these Underground tickets. My solution is to try for them if you really want them, but to also think about just booking a standard entry ticket or an arena floor ticket, which are also pretty easy to come by. Is there any way to upgrade your ticket once you've purchased it? No, there's no way to upgrade your ticket once you've purchased it, especially if you've purchased it on the Colosseum website. If you book through a tour company, it's possible that you can change the tour you booked. So let's say you just book a standard tour of the Colosseum and you really want to book an arena floor or an Underground tour with them, reach out to the tour company and ask if you can change your ticket. I'm often asked what happens if you get the name wrong on your ticket and now it's not going to match your ID. For something like this, you should write to the Colosseum. They actually have a help desk and they're really responsive. 3 things you can and should bring with you when you visit the Colosseum: ID, water, and a backpack. The ID is actually fundamental. You must have some form of government-issued photo ID that proves that you are the person whose name is on the ticket. As I've mentioned, this ID does not have to be a passport. It can also be a photocopy of your passport on your phone or tablet. But if you don't have proof that you are the person whose name is on the ticket, they will not let you in. As for water, you can and should bring water with you when you visit the Colosseum year-round. It's okay to bring plastic or refillable water bottles with you. There's even a spot on the second floor where you can refill your water bottle if you need to. I included backpacks as more of a personal preference. This is really up to you. The reason I included backpacks is because I get this question a lot: can you wear a backpack into the Colosseum? Yes, you can, as long as it's a small backpack. I love sightseeing with a backpack because I can put all my stuff back there, it keeps my hands free, and most importantly, it keeps the weight on my back balanced. Which is the best ticket for first-time visitors to Rome? I think the best ticket for a first-time visitor to Rome is a standard entry ticket. Most visitors to Rome want to see the Colosseum. This is understandable. And you can even come down to the Colosseum and see it from the outside without ever going inside. But a standard entry ticket is very easy to come by. You're going to see most of the monument from the main tier and the second tier. You're going to get wonderful views and you can look down onto the arena floor and down into the Underground. This ticket comes with entrance to the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill, and for most people, that can be enough. It's not that the other ticket types or types of visits to the Colosseum are not good for a first-time visitor. I believe, based on so many comments I've heard, that most people have no idea how much they're going to see when they visit the Colosseum for the first time. and that they find that the standard entry ticket has given them even more than they thought they would get. How long can you stay inside the Colosseum, and how long can you stay inside the Roman Forum in Palatine Hill? Your Colosseum ticket will state that you have a maximum of 60 minutes to stay inside the Colosseum. Those times are quite strict, although technically there's nobody to actually kick you out. Although the Arena 24-hour ticket says that you only have 20 minutes to stay on the arena floor. But I don't think you need more than 20 minutes on the arena floor with that ticket, or more than 60 minutes inside the Colosseum with any of the other ticket types. But if you find yourself inside the Colosseum and you're a little bit more than 60 minutes, don't worry. Like I said, nobody is going to come and kick you out. This is just indicative so that they can manage crowd control. Once you're inside the Roman Forum Palatine Hill, you can stay there until they close. Have I answered all of your questions? If not, please drop me a line in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer you. Yes, I know I keep pushing this standard entry ticket, but I really believe in it. I really do think that this is the best way to see the Colosseum, especially for first-time visitors. If you really want to see what I mean, check out my video right here.